Before we get started, I wanted to remind you guys that I will be an instructor at the Gel Printer Summit Kickoff, which is a free workshop for beginning gel printers. It starts September 16th and runs through the 22nd. And enrollment is now open, so check the description for a link. I will also be an instructor at the Gel Printer Summit, which begins October 7th and runs through the 21st. Registration starts September 23rd, so keep an eye out for that link. All right, let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. This is Shauna from Created and Made, and today we're going to take a look at this beautiful bouquet and what it ended up as. Now, you know when you get bouquets and you display them and you hold on to them, you give them the food, but then they die. And what you have left is some leaf material, perhaps. Now, this is what I did. I took my wedding anniversary bouquet, and it looked similar to the one I showed you in that photo. And once it had already got all dry and died out, I took the leaves and I used them for printing, and that's what I'm showing you today. But before I jump into that, what I'm doing is making some textured backgrounds. Now, you saw me use my several mesh sheets and several different color paints to create this interesting textured background. I have links in the description for all of the items that I used to do that. And now what I'm going in with is a contrasting solid color. This is a teal by golden, and then I'm taking my leaves and little grass pieces and all the pieces that I could salvage from my bouquet, and I'm just pressing them down onto the plate into this solid colored teal. Now, I used my texture print, and you see how that came out. I'm able to get the texture print in the background and the teal over the top. But then you get this bonus print. Now, these are the ones that I really like the best. I like the first one, but these are the ones that I like the most. The ones with the ghost print ones, the leftover paint on the plate. Now, I'm rolling out several different color paints, as you saw me do. And then I'm just going to take my textured mesh pieces again and just press them gently into the wet paint. And so I'm going to be able to transfer and pick up some of that texture even in the ghost print. So as I pull it, you'll see I find this really interesting. You can see I had some color left over on the plate. There's this very grungy, and it's not clean, and I love it. I love the grunge. That's my favorite. So I don't know why I decided to snip the leaves off. I think I just wanted a little less sort of mass in the middle of the print. And so, I mean, it's easy to change up the way that the leaves and the grass things, the way that they look, just trim them down. You can do whatever you want with them. They're pretty versatile that way. So I'm just going to take another print using the same items that I used before. And when I made my my background texture prints, I made quite a few at a time. And so I'm able to have some leftover to use to take multiple prints. So with this, I'm just pulling a little bit more of that Prussian blue off the background, and look at what I have left. That's a pretty detailed print there. And as I said before, this is my favorite part. This is the ghost print, and I'm using some chartreuse and some teal and a little bit of white to create. First, I create texture with the colors, right? And then I'm gonna go in with my mesh sheets and create a little bit more texture in the background. And just give your prints a little bit more interest. It's not just a solid, plain color in the background. You have multiple colors and multiple textures, and it gives it really a finished look. Now, see, that texture transferred beautifully from those leaves. Now, finally, what I'm going to do is I took a little bit of open medium because I want this paint to stay wet for a little bit longer than usual. I'm using some golden now if you could just get golden open paint. I see I have some of it sitting right there on the side, but I don't have that in the carbon black, so I mixed it with a little bit of the open medium, and that just keeps the paint wetter longer, as I said. And I'm just dipping my leaves into the carbon black paint, and I'm using those wet leaves to print the leaf texture onto another plate. Now you're able to get some really true representations of the texture this way. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm just going back and forth from the open or wet paint on the one side and using it to print that texture on the other plate. Now, if you try to do this, and I tried it, it didn't work. If you try to do this with regular acrylic, what will end up happening is it'll just dry too fast and you won't have a lot of time to work with it, because normal acrylic has a really short open window. And so that's why I mixed it with that open medium. And that's a really good way to turn any acrylic paint that you have into an open paint if you don't have the golden open line, which I have a few of them. I don't have a whole bunch, so I like using that medium. And so to pull this print, I put some rouge and some white, and those two colors mixed together to make a pretty medium magenta color. And there you have it. You're able to see how much detail you get from those leaf prints. And I decided, why not? I could take this print too. I mean, you can see the outline of some of the leaves in there. It's a bit messy, a little darker than the print that I would do, a purposeful print that I would do. But, you know, with gel printing, it all works, right? I'll no doubt be able to use this print for something. And as you can see, there are some pretty identifiable leaf outlines there. So here is the recap of our short little printing session. But I was able to get some really cool designs just using the old leaves from my once beautiful flower bouquet. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you did, go ahead and hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. I hope to see you guys next time. And in the meantime, keep creating and making. Bye-bye.